Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So just to give you an update on what's going on in the pen, as you know from my previous video, I did have to have Petunia euthanized. She stopped eating and it just, she's 8 years old, and so I did take her to the vet and had her put down, and um, it was really, really hard. And then I buried my guinea pigs in the backyard, and so I took her home and had her in a cooler, and by the time I got her home Friday, it was starting to get dark, and then Saturday it rained all day, and I go to church on Saturday, so it's kind of a busy day, and I just couldn't bring myself to burying her. So it wasn't until Sunday afternoon that I went out in the backyard and I buried little Petunia, and then I came in from burying her, walked in the door, and I heard this screeching cry of pain coming from the pen. It sounded like Pineda just right before she had her surgery. If you recall, 6 months ago, Pineda had to have a hysterectomy because she had enlarged ovaries that was causing a lot of pain. And I'm like, surely that can't be Pineda. She had her surgery. But I couldn't tell who it was coming from. So I got inside the pen and I just sat there down on the ground with my elbows, and I just watched every single one looking. And finally, Pineda hunched her back like she used to do before her surgery, and cried out in pain. And then a few seconds later, she hunched and cried out in pain again. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So I picked her up. She was soaking wet. She had peed all over herself. And it smelled, as soon as I picked her up, the smell was so strong. And it was so acidic. It was even starting to irritate my hands as I was touching her bottom, and she was soaking wet. So I got her, gave her a bath just from the, waist down, and cleaned her, really good, blow dried her, and I got on the phone and got a hold of the vet, took her in. I'm thinking, I don't know, I was just beside myself. And at this point, it was raining. It was like one of those torrential rains that goes sideways and you can't really see anything. And I'm driving, and it's about a 40-minute drive, and I had to go over a bridge across some water, and it was a horrific drive. Got her to the vet, and I'm like, listen, I don't know what's going on, but I don't know if I want to put her through another surgery. She was just, put under just 6 months ago. She said, well, let me check her over. So they did an ultrasound there, because the first thing she said is, I wonder if there was cancer and it metastasized and there could be a mass somewhere. So I'm thinking I'm going to have her put down. And after just losing Petunia, to lose Pineda, it was unbearable. It was just unbearable. So she did an ultrasound, and while Pineda was on the machine, she peed. And they were able to get some up in a syringe. So the ultrasound, there was no mass. There were no signs of bladder stones. But the urine, she looked, and she said there's blood in the urine, and there was some pus, or some milky substance, I assume pus, in the urine. So she said, this is a UTI. So I had never been so happy over a UTI before. So she, gave me antibiotics and pain meds. So I took her home last night, Sunday night, and gave her the gave her the meds, the antibiotic and the pain med, and I separated, got this little area set up for her. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's up here in the loft area, so it's just just sectioned off an area for her. She's and I went ahead and weighed her, because it was about a couple weeks ago that I weighed her, and she was, well, it was almost like 3 weeks ago. She weighed 840 grams, and now she's like 680. So she's definitely lost a considerable amount of weight. I don't know if you can see her in there. She's in the hay. So I'm like, and I didn't notice. I don't know how long this has been going on, because she, they hide their illnesses really well, and I haven't heard her cry out in pain. So I had no idea, and I was so preoccupied with Petunia that I didn't even notice that when she started losing weight, I was just, all my concentration was on Petunia, because at that point I was feeding Petunia, syringe feeding her twice a day, and keeping her butt wiped down because she wasn't cleaning herself well. And it's just, so I feel so bad, because I was so preoccupied with Petunia that I didn't notice. So I don't know how long she's had this. But anyway, so going back to Sunday night, I gave her pain meds. Well, it took a while for the meds to kick in. So through the night, she was still crying out in pain. And it wasn't until like late, like maybe 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, that she finally stopped. And I was sleeping out here, so I could be near her and, monitor. So, of course, I didn't get any sleep. Finally, I think I dozed off around between 2 and 3, and there weren't any more cries of pain. And then all day today, so today's Monday, no cries of pain. She's doing really well. She's eating her hay. She's eating her vegetables. So I was very pleased. Well, then tonight, of course, I gave her meds again. The antibiotic is just once a day for 5 days, and then the pain meds also once a day. So, it had been 24 hours, so tonight I gave her pain meds. I did give her a bath, just to, from the waist down, again, because she was still, that urine was still on her. She had peed again, she's peeing like sideways, so she's peeing all over herself. So, but no cries of pain. So, like I said, I gave her another little butt bath, and then I blow dried her. I did give her some critical care, just as a supplement. Gave her meds, and about a half an hour ago, she started crying out in pain again. I'm like, how can this be? She was fine all day. She's had her second dose of pain meds. So she cried out a little bit about a half an hour ago. She hasn't cried any since. So I don't know if you guys can give me any advice, or any of your experiences that you might have had, or anything. Please comment. Because I thought by now that the pain, the meds would have kicked in really good, because she, like I said, there wasn't a peep out of her. And she's been eating, she's been active, she's been running around. She doesn't understand why she's blocked in. But she's a very active, very happy-go-lucky personality. So anyway, I'm stressed, if you can tell by my voice and on the video. I'm very stressed, and I'm very tired. So any advice you can give me about what I can do, or is it normal for her not to experience pain all day and then experience it at night? When are the pain meds gonna kick in good? You can hear her. She's crying. Oh, poor baby. She's been through so much. And now this is the second time now, half an hour later, about a half an hour later, and here she is crying in pain again. And I don't know what to do. I called the vet last night, and they're like, you know, you have to wait for the pain meds to kick in. Well, this is now the second night that she's on the pain meds, so why is she still experiencing pain? Oh, I don't know, but if you have any advice, please. I'm beside myself at this point. Every time I hear her cry, it cuts me like a knife. So anyway, that's what's going on here. Please send happy thoughts. If you're a praying person, please pray, because it's a hard time right now. And so I just hope that between the antibiotics and the pain meds, that she can get some relief here. So thank you. I'm sorry this isn't a very upbeat video, but I do appreciate your thoughts and any comments that you can send me. Thank you so much for supporting this channel, and I hope that you guys have a good day, and hopefully the next video will be a little bit more upbeat. Thank you for your time, and have a great day. Goodbye.